Hello everyone, Blue Star Saber here once again to do another Star Wars The Bad Batch review. Season 2, Episode 11, also the 27th episode overall of The Bad Batch. I had some difficulties trying to live stream and review this episode from a different windows because it kept freezing and all that stuff from back and forth from tabs. So I ended up having to create a new one and doing a new stream because of just all those technical difficulties, and I didn't really want to have a live stream with all those kind of errors for people to see. So yeah, once I'm able to delete that video, I will. But anyway, this episode follow up is a sort of loosely followed up from the last one, or at least the Bad Batch, are just only sometime after the last episode, which was rather a bit fillerish for my taste. But this episode, given its title, let's see, and given from what I've actually seen in the episode, seems to address a recurring plot line that was left cliffhanging on the first season of the Bad Batch, but also a plot line I forgot. I was wondering was ever going to be addressed or even just forgotten about from actually the Clone Wars itself. So what that one is, well, it's from its second season, but well, I'm about to tell you. But if you haven't seen the episode, you might as well watch it now and you have an idea. But anyway, yeah. Metamorphosis. The episode begins where you have let's see, an abandoned imperial spaceship seemingly flying in space, landing on a planet. As you can see, it's completely deserted and empty. It's sort of like Alien-esque vibes, abandoned horror theme thing. I haven't really seen the movie Alien, but you get the idea of that. But as you see, a clone commando running with electro staff, fearing for his life, trying to find whatever it is, but ends up being dragged about from the air, which I assume that is also another thing from the Alien film. But I have to admit, despite never seeing the film, I do like the references, and I kind of get the idea based on like that one trailer of Alien that I've seen. I could be wrong, but yeah, but it's like this opening is just totally horror vibes, and I really enjoy that. I also like seeing the Clone Commandos and all that stuff. Since let's see, you didn't see them much in the Clone Wars. Well, the Bad Batch are technically Clone Commandos, but they're a special kind, not the other kind. But yeah, but yeah. But the Republic Commandos, well now Imperial Commandos, have only just, or Clone Commandos, you will, only just made it to canon thanks to the fact that you had a few episodes of them in particular the Delta Squad were in that one cameo with the Night Sisters trilogy, if you will, story arc of the Clone Wars. But yeah. But anyway, let's see, we're actually on the planet Wayland. Let's see where some rail class shuttles are escorting an Imperial transport, if you will. And we see the scientist from last season, Scalver, greeting what is a new character, Dr. Dr. Royce Hemlock. Apparently, it's an entirely new character. For some reason, let's see, for some reason they're not using. Wait, hold on. Let's see. Well, I'll get to that once I'll end up, let's see, reviewing more of the episode. But yeah, let's see. Royce Hamlock, who is apparently, let's see, an entirely new character who you don't see his face first until he ends up meeting Nala Se, who is now in a prison cell, who is now, after the Empire destroying her home world, genociding her people, if you will, and destroying her city, it's refusing to cooperate in cloning and all that stuff, despite Hamlock's praises for her achievements and all that stuff, trying to get this is the Emperor requesting your services and all that stuff, but she still refuses, but he threatens her that there'll be much more worse punishments for lack of cooperation, if you will, as he's trying to get updates and transport, or well, at the same time trying to get updates and transport 904, which is the experiment from the ship that we saw. He also ends up asking, but once they but yeah, after throwing her that she can do far worse than locking up in a cell, he ends up asking Scarlet for like that what's he transport, but she also says that when asking for Caminos that have been taken off world, let's see, the most notable is the former Prime Minister. Let's see, I believe his name is, of course, whoops, dang it, accidentally clicked the wrong tab thing. Lamassu and all that stuff. So yeah, so it seems like we we got this introduced to this new character. He seems to be like one of those cold, evil scientists, if you will, not like cartoonish way, but menacing. And I do like but he does seem to respect Nala Se, who I do like how has stood her ground of like not just willingly working Empire, since we now learned that it wasn't just the city that was destroyed, but the inhabitants of the entire planet, in a sense, genocide. So she's like, I'm not working for you, even though the scientist is, threatening that he'll do far more worse than lock in the cell. Even though he tries to first play good cop, then bad cop, if you will. But then it seems like he has a very interesting wants to use the Prime Minister of Camino, which is interesting that we are getting more of him after a while, but it's nice to learn since, I thought his character was done with once he was taken away by Grand Moff. I mean, either was it Grand Moff Tarkin or Vice Admiral Ramput, but yeah. But either way, let's see, they're taking it away, so yeah. And it's going to be used as well as this cargo thing is very important, but yeah. Anyway, the Bad Batch is traveling on the Marauder in hyperspace, where they're having a get with, where they're clearly not pleased with Sid for abandoning them last episode and all that stuff. She said she tried to get them help, but they're too late. But he seems to think that all the whole Biggie things is not done, but has like a new a tip on like a on a down ship and offers them like 30% of the cut. But you can clearly tell they're still annoyed at her and they're tired of this lack of regard for them. So she eventually tries to raise it to 35, but finally just relents to like, okay, 50%. As like a token of her goodwill, but even though that probably should be what the normal fee should be for them, but yeah. But sends them intelligence and not to return without scavenging something, but Hunter ends up threatening her about how should they expect them to return, but she says, hey, don't test me and all that stuff, just get the job done. Let's see. And after that, Tex says that, however, trying to sever ties with Sid might be complicated due to the information that she knows about them and all that stuff. And she says maybe they should just try and treat this try and handle this delicately and just try and do this last mission for Sid before, like, goodwill and try and leave and all that stuff and leave on good terms. But yeah. No, not entirely pleased that they've only got like coordinates to thing and lack of information, but that Wrecker says that. Well, granted, he seems to be Wrecker seems to be a bit. Well, I can't tell if he was surprised or not shocked at limited intelligence, but Omega says like how that could be, which is clearly a jinx kind of thing you're doing there. But yeah. But anyway, it seems like the Bad Batch is finally getting fed up with Sid and her lack of care for them, so I quite like that. And they're being a bit more pushy, like the profits of the price for like emissions now, so it's like 50%, which honestly should have been what they should have been paid long ago. But yeah, but now they've gotten that sorted out, they are going to go and try and get the profits. But yeah, I also like how they're going to see commenting about whether or not eventually they need to try and leave Sid and try and but I also can think of the downsides of trying to do that, as since Sid knows quite a bit about them, they could be compromised and that stuff, and she could always, wrap them to something like the Empire, some other enemy that they might make along the way. But they are trying to, but it's clear that they are trying to leave her, and it seems like it will be soon. Now, when, who knows, next episode or the following one, but at the very least, probably by the end of the season, the Bad Batch will permanently part ways with Sid. But at the very least, they're trying to find a way of doing it with goodwill, so she doesn't become an enemy later down the line. Of course, this also kind of follows up from like the last Sid focus episode with the race thing, and the first part about how the Empire is getting close to Ord Mantell. So yeah, there's that. But anyway, the Bad Batch land on the planet where the village where they learn a village is let's see there, which is okay. So this is how they the report about the ship crash. So they go towards it, all that stuff, and they end up land their ship in a near clearing as they approach like the damaged transport and all that stuff. With let's see, Tech believing that the crew has perished, but Omega, being the optimist, thinks that they might still be alive and all that stuff as they go in. They explore the whole thing, and it's all got the horror vibes of them just searching an abandoned vessel, if you will. But they realize that, but they see like scratch marks and all that stuff, and they realize that, okay, whatever killed them isn't human and all that stuff. But yeah. Let's see. But anyway, but the Bad Batch eventually end up splitting up with Hunter, Wrecker, and Omega going one end to search for components, and Tech going another end to log data and try and power up the ship again and all that stuff. Let's see. And I do like how Omega expresses concern about him being by himself and all that stuff, but he thinks he is fine. But yeah, I do like how these two seem to be interacting a lot more since Echo has left, and given the previous bonding thing where they bantered like the idea was like, oh, Tech is thinking logically that the crew's perished, but Omega is being the optimist, but also having her concerned about Tech being by himself because, you know, never split up in a horror movie or you die and be by yourself. So yeah. But anyway, as the Bad Batch event, as like let's see, a hunters group with Omega and all that stuff, end up looking about. They end up seeing broken lab parts and all that stuff. Let's see, saliva, which Wrecker ends up getting a bit of a accidentally gets a sample of when let's see, searching about. You can see it in this torch, and he's kind of disgusted. But Omega ends up noticing that this is Kamino medical technology, but different from the ones back in the Topoka City and all that stuff. As let's see, yeah. Realizes that this is cloning Tech and tries to warn Tech that that he needs to come back with them. Meanwhile, during the whole course of this, you have Tech, let's see, going in the control room, trying to turn up the power, but also being a bit cautious, wondering like, is something there? You know, sort of horror-like vibe, like, is something there or not? Is it there or not? Before like jump scare moment, but he doesn't really get it, but he has managed to eventually power the ship and all that stuff. But he ends up seeing an AZ series surgical droid popping out, and he ends up asking the droid what attacked him, but it shuts down too quickly before it could even fully tell Tech what attacked him and all that stuff. And as the Bad Batch, as the Wreckers group, Hunter's group ends up discovering that this laboratory had reinforced walls, and whatever broke out is really dangerous. But and they end up encountering a let's see, a creature sleeping, and judging from the armor and all that stuff. And I was at first glance, because it didn't quite look like it, but I wondered. It looked like what appeared to be a young Scylla beast, but then again, we haven't seen a young Scylla beast, but the episode confirms. But yeah, this is a Scylla beast, as it doesn't really have the eyes. Let's see, the eyes, glowing eyes like you see from the other ones. But yeah, but it's a young, let's see, juvenile Scylla beast, and the Bad Batch end up fighting it and all that stuff. And I should mention during the whole thing, Wrecker ends up picking up the electric staff that Clone Commando had and tries to use it against the Scylla beast, but ends up grabbing it and eating it and all that stuff. And they fight over a bit with Hunter warning Tech about what's going on and telling them to leave the ship. Let's see. with Tech giving them too late that it's a research vessel after they escape the Zilla Beast, but Wrecker's like, yeah, we know and all that stuff. And eventually they as the beast ends up they end up chasing the beast a bit. I should probably have mentioned, but yeah, it's feeding on electric generators, and they try to fight it as it's trying to grab Tech. I mean, Omega tries to save him with an energy bow, but eventually Tech just blows the engine thing, destroying that part of the ship, which blows a hole, but lets the creature, escape. When Bad Batch realize that it's heading to the nearby village, and they realize that it's in trouble as it's absorbing electricity to gain power and all that stuff, and they need to try and stop it. So you have Wrecker and Hunter going off to get to the Marauder to try and stop the creature, while Omega stays with Tech to help him with the research with the Kaminoan civilians and all that stuff. But they agree to it. Now, granted, Tech points out that it's probably not hungry since it won't eat the villagers since it did eat the crew. And, you kind of Omega being shocked and horrified that they ate the crew with I think Wrecker and Hunter trying to assure her by being annoyed at Tech to not point this out. So, yep. But still, you got they're going through the whole thing. But yeah, they end up let's see, they go onto the Marauder to chase the Zilla Beast, in which they try to shoot the creature, and it jumps on the ship for a bit, but jumps off. But burning scared. But yeah. But while they're doing that, Tech and Omega end up encrypting the ship's data, which was highly encrypted. And Omega was finding, let's see, from another terminal and all that stuff. They figured out that she ends up telling Tech that there were rumors about Kaminoans doing experiments off-world, but Nala Se never told her what it was. But anyway, the young Zilla Beast ends up going to the power generator near the village, ends up eating it and all that stuff, and it's clearly being fed and all that stuff. But as Tech and Omega then discover the creature's genetic material was this modified plating, and this is what 100% confirmed to me that this was the Zilla Beast, even if it didn't fully state it just quite yet. But yeah. And they realize that, and after realizing what it does, let's see, it's a creature imbued with past bolts. It feeds on energy and all that stuff, and after delusion, it can grow bigger from feeding on electricity. Informs Hunter that it's the same species that attacked Coruscant during the Clone Wars. And Hunter with Tech warning Hunter does not feed on the generator, otherwise it'll grow bigger. But they tell him that it's already too late, as the Zilla Beast has reached full size. Though granted, it's become much bigger, not as big as the Zilla Beast from the Star Wars Clone Wars, but it's now looked like a fully grown Zilla Beast. Though its backhand doesn't have a claw like the original thing and all that stuff. So yeah. After a minute, let's see. I guess that there was a Zilla Beast based on its design, but given how the young form didn't look like the older form, but I suppose it kind of makes sense. But it looked like it might have been a cross rather than we're saying the Zilla Beast and another creature. But yes, but it's finally been confirmed that yes, this is the Zilla Beast after years and years since the second season. But finally tackling the fact that the cliffhanger had of Palpatine demanding the cloned of the Zilla Beast and whatever it plans to do that and all that stuff. But I do like how slowly it's just plated armor and all that stuff. But this is the creature that attacked Coruscant. So yeah, which I will admit always made me curious about how Chancellor Palpatine's approval ratings never went down from that incident, unless he somehow got the Jedi blamed for that. But which might have affected their popularity with the residents of Coruscant. But yeah, it's nice to see that the Zilla Beast is there. And granted, I think it's a bit of a stretch that it has a very quick growth span. But I guess that's what happens when you feed on electricity. But I do like its sort of small, compartment thing and all that stuff. I do like how, let's see, it's able to scurry about and all that stuff. I do like how the Bad Batch have difficulty fighting it, and it's it's still got and even at a young age, its armor's still impenetrable to blasters and all that stuff. So I quite like the fact that we got the Zilla Beast, And I do like how, even if it does grow a bit quickly, it's still not the size of like the one from, at least from what I can tell from the one at Carlson, because that was like kaiju levels, I believe. But I could be wrong. It's still like a young creature and all that stuff, but it's not fully. Even if it is looking more like it, it still doesn't have like its fully arm on the back. But yeah. So yeah, that was pretty cool. But anyway, as they're trying to stop it and all that stuff, the citizens are terrified of the nearby village. But then three Fenter-class Star Destroyers with a lot of low-altitude assault transports, LAAT gunships, arrive with a bunch of other clone starfighters, if you will. As like let's see, your villagers are panicking. They're trying to calm it down by also having a few of the gunships battle the Marauder in a sort of gunfight. And I do like how that keeps the Bad Batch too busy trying to deal with the Marauder, so trying to escape the gunships, if you will. But let's see, you have Hunter and warning Omega and Tech to leave here, but let's see, Tech is trying to get all the data thing, but all the data and all that sensitive data, but Omega convinces him to leave. I think she does take a little trip from the transport. I'm not sure if it's her own device she put in earlier or whatever, but either way, it might imply that they managed to get at least enough of the data, but it seems like not everything was taken. Whether or not that would be used for Sid, who knows? But then again, it seems like they have someone else in mind to do it. They have down later with Tech and Omega. I mean Rex and Echo. We're going to deal with it, but I'll get to that in another day. But yeah. But they end up leaving. They manage to escape the ship just enough on time before it blows up. Let's see. But yeah, the gunships are just shooting it down. No witnesses. But yeah. But anyway, as you get the gunship, the LIT gunships battling the Zilla Beast, they're joined by a transport which fires the sonic boom thing, which knocked out the Zilla Beast from its first episode and all that stuff, from under its scales and all that stuff. And it takes a while for it to. As it slows down, tries to escape, but then eventually knocks it down, and eventually they grab a claw, bring it up, and the Bad Batch realizes that they're trying to capture it and all that stuff. And let's see, but it says they need to retreat to avoid capture, and they can't do anything to help the creature. Anyway, as you get some Imperial shuttles landing, and you have clone commandos. One of them I thought might have been maybe let's see. Well, you got this gray kind of one, which I thought maybe would have been one of the let's see, clone commandos from how should I put this? From Delta Squad. I think maybe let's see, I believe the one called Scotch, since he was in there on the Wayland base and all that stuff, but the plating doesn't seem to match, but yeah. But yeah. I can't recall if Scotch was the leader of the one you play as, but then again, I've never played the Republic Commando game. I should really do so, and probably buy one of those remakes you got on either the PlayStation 4 or Nintendo Switch. But yeah, but they leads a bunch of clone commandos to let's see, deal with the civilians and all that stuff. Gives a bit of a dark vibe and all that stuff, but eventually let's see, Hunter and Wrecker are able to evacuate Tech Omega, and they jump to hyperspace, avoiding Imperial V-Wings and all that stuff, while fighting a few of them off, destroying them, but yeah. Anyway, aboard the Imperial transport, the clone commandos seal the beast inside this large tank with the sort of liquid that puts it to sleep, if you will, while the rest of them are transporting civilians into shuttles, clearly taking them away for not to have witnesses. My guess, the reason why they haven't shot them down is because, well, that would draw too much of a large crowd or other civilians and all that stuff. But yeah. Anyway, Tech informs the others as a result of this that this crashed Imperial vessel was part of an Imperial cloning operation. Let's see, with Hunter asking if the Emperor was ordered the cloning of the Scylla Beast, with Tech explaining that Palpatine did this, when he was still Chancellor of the Republic. So yeah, showing that this is how long this sort of operation has been going on and all that stuff. But yeah. But with Wrecker curious why on earth the Emperor is interested in the Scylla Beast, he explains that its genetic material could be weaponized in the hands of the right scientists. After all, then Palpatine wanted it to create impenetrable armor. I wouldn't be surprised if this ends up being used for like maybe Death Star material, but I could be wrong. But Hunter tries to ask where the Scylla Beast is taken, but Tech says he's unaware since the ship lacked a destination thing. And him then realizing that the Empire did not destroy the cities of Kamino to end cloning, but rather to gain control over the technology themselves and operate itself. With this, Hunter decides to the group that he's going to inform Rex and Echo, as Omega watches anxiously in her like little spaceship thing, given what the whole this cloning thing means and what it might mean for the future of the clones and themselves, and what they might have to deal with. Okay, I will admit, I liked how you got the Imperials arriving just straight away to try and get the transport, and like there's no way they're going to leave it abandoned and that stuff, given the fact that it's a Zilla Beast and they need the asset. I do like how they use the same methods that they used to knock it out the first time, without the poison gas, of course, but yeah. But as you can see, the Empire is like clearly not having any witnesses, so you have Colonel and Commandos just going in, rounding up as many civilians as they can, taking them away, possibly prisoners. Now, what they're going to be executed or taken as slaves somewhere, I don't know, but it's very dark future for them, as you see quite a few civilians, even children, being taken away by these clone commandos. They never look more like stormtroopers in this moment here, but yeah. I do like how you had a bit of a gunfight with like the LRT gunships and the Marauder. And I do like how all the information, how Tech explains all the information about the Zilla Beast, its impenetrable armor, how Palpatine ordered its cloning and all that stuff. Which I have to admit, I'm surprised that Synovio Ball, the scientist from a Bavli, a species called Bavli and all that stuff. Let's see, the female scientist that was tasked with cloning the beast. I'm surprised that she hasn't been appeared in this episode at all and all that stuff, since like it's the Zilla Beast, and you'd thinking that would try and tie in more to that, but yeah. But concludes at the Empire, and they get even though they don't know what the Empire is planning to do with the Zilla Beast, they get an idea that they're using it for the right weaponry and all that stuff, and they realize that the Empire isn't trying to end cloning permanently, but rather they just wanted to arrest it, control from Kamino's hands. So that's why they ended up genociding them and destroying their cities and research facilities, if you will. So yeah, but I do like how the Bad Batch realized that this situation is serious, and given the fact this might affect clones, Hunter decides to inform Rex and Echo. So that hopes to me leads up that the next episode, which let's see, from what I can tell, the next the Bad Batch's next episode, The Outpost, which probably means that with next episode we're going to have a Rex and Echo episode, which I'm all for and all that stuff. And oh yeah, I think I've accidentally turned on my TV there. So anyway, let's see. Damn Alexa, but let's see. But yeah, so we're going to get an episode for that. So I'm excited, and that's kind of what I hope for, is that eventually we would get since we wouldn't fully see Echo gone, but instead he'll be with Rex. So yeah, we've got a bit of a 501st episode, but yeah, so that'll be fun, and then probably try and research the Outpost and all that stuff. But I do like Omega's concern about, let's see, all the events that are going on. But yeah. Anyway, we cut back to Planet Weldon, where Scout informs that the Dr. Hamlock that the Silver Beast has been recovered and all that stuff, and is being secured in Mount Tantus. Let's see, and informs her that their guest, the Prime Minister Lama Soon, will be arriving. As let's see, Hamlock ends up speaking with Clone Commander RC-1262, or Scotch, if you will, about everything the local saw, but he responds that they've been detained and they will be dealt with. That's a very vague thing, and it's like I bet some Fritzy Republic Commander fans are like, "Oh, Scotch, why are you being so evil? You're so cool," and all that stuff. Well, maybe not like that. It's like, "Oh, Scotch is a bad guy now," but let's see. But I don't know. I don't really know much about. I'm not sure how Republic Commander fans feel about Scotch, but yeah. Let's see. But anyway, they mentioned that, but he does inform that a military class vessel has escaped assault, with him asking him to forget investigating it and all that stuff, who it belongs to, as he wishes to deal with the Prime Minister. But yeah. So it would be interesting. Let's see, with Lama Su then asking why, as you see him, he's all wearing black now, but still got a sort of thing. But I do like how Hamlock Ritzy mocks him about being former Prime Minister now, but asks why he's been brought to this place. But he tells him him that he's having trouble trying to secure Nala Se's cooperation. With Lama Su trying to mock him, saying how it must be frustrating to have all the resources but lack the expertise to exploit it, which he ends up saying that he might end up in the cell like him. But Hamlock tells Lama Su that he misunderstands the situation. It's his job to try and persuade him, otherwise he might be in trouble. But he ends up telling Itzy that if he wants to motivate Nala Se, he requests for his freedom, but tells her that in order to do so, get her to cooperate. Let's see, you must locate the young clone girl Omega in order to since she is quite fond of it, as that's the key to controlling Nala Se. With Hamlock agreeing to this, ends up inviting Lama Se for more discussions, ending the episode. But yeah, first of all, with these final bits, I do like how Hamlock is getting reports of all the situations of the Silver Beast, the Prime Minister arriving, and the Clone Commander about witnesses, which the citizens, well, they're probably going to be toast, like I said earlier, and probably going to be as Scott is shown to be more and more of a better, turning more like of an pro-Empire clone, which for those who like just clones being good guys will probably be upset, and those just pro-Empire will go like, yeah, Scotch is on our side, but I don't know, I'm just guessing by that. But yeah. But also informs that a vessel thing is, so it's clear that at this point the Bad Batch is going to probably be discovered to still be alive and all that stuff, even though they're not quite being revealed yet. Despite that, it's Admiral Rampart trying to keep the cover thing, to keep his reputation intact at the time with Tarkin, but now that he's been disposed, well, now they'll probably be the Empire will be more open to the fact that the Bad Batch is still alive. And they'll probably try and find Clone Force 89. And who knows? It might be Scotch leading the mission, but who knows? Who knows? Maybe we even get the full-on Delta Squad. We'll have to wait and see. I am curious to see what happens to the remaining members, but yeah. Anyway, I do like this sort of conversation with Lama Se and Hamlock, as they try to Lama Se is trying to mock him about you see, despite all your resources, you can't use them without the proper expertise. And you might end up in a set like in my situation, but Hamlock is not falling for it, but warns him that you don't understand the situation, and realizes that he needs to get Nala Se to cooperate if he wishes to his freedom, which he demands. I do like he does that, but it's clear that I think, despite the fact that his people's been wiped out the Empire, it seems like he's prioritizing his own freedom and all that stuff, and probably realizes that this is my only chance to survive now, so I gotta tell them everything I know and how to get Nulla Sed to cooperate, and that is Omega. So now, as a result, you're probably gonna have the Empire trying to find Omega and motivate her to get Nulla Sed to motivate, threatening her life and all that stuff. And let's see that let's see in order to get her to cooperate, and Hamlock agrees to these terms, at least for now, but I wouldn't be surprised if he does double cross the Khmer Prime Minister. I wouldn't be surprised if eventually he dies, but at the moment they're working together to try and hunt down Omega, which means conflict with the Bad Batch and all that stuff, which I'm all for. Overall, I'd say this is a very good episode, a much bigger improvement over last week's episode, and not only a plot-focused heavy one for the Bad Batch from like last season, but also returning plotline from the Clone Wars. It's so good to see the Zilla Beast again, even though it's probably its clone and all that stuff, and like the alien like horror-esque that they did with the episode, and also the build-up with the conflict with the Bad Batch being more directly involved with the Empire, as the Prime Minister reveals that they need to get Omega to get Nulla Sed to cooperate. So it wouldn't be surprised if Omega somehow gets captured again, which might be a bit like, oh no, not again kind of plotline, but at the very least be hunted down and the Bad Batch have to come rescue her. Who knows? Maybe they might even try and rescue Nulla Sed, a kind of moaning clone scientist, as they try to do something with that. But yeah. Yeah, whether or not Palpatine's plans for the Zilla Beast remain clear, who knows? But overall, it's a pretty good episode, and I have to give it a 9 out of 10. Let's see. Anyway, or maybe even, I might even have, or maybe a near 10, but still. Yeah, mostly 9 out of 10. Very good episode. I enjoyed it. And I'm looking forward to the next episode, which might be the promise of Rex and Echo investigating more on the cloning of the Zilla Beast and all that stuff. I do. Let's see, which I probably mentioned that I do like how this episode delved on the fact that Cameron's had experiments and projects outside of like Kamino cloning, but now that the Empire has taken over them and all that stuff. So yeah. Overall, I'm Blue Star Saber signing off. May the Force be with you, and goodbye.